Well, hey there, everyone. It's Gigi's Sober Son. August 30th. AA Thought for the Day from the 24-hour-a-day book reading. Practical experience, this is a quote, practical experience shows that nothing will so much ensure immunity from drinking as intensive work with other alcoholics. Carry the message to other alcoholics. You can help when no one else can. You can secure their confidence when others fail. Life will take on new meaning for you. To watch people recover, to see them help others in turn, to watch loneliness vanish, to see a fellowship grow about you, to have a host of friends. This is an experience you must not miss. Am I always ready and willing to help other alcoholics? Meditation for the day. One secret of abundant living is the art of giving. The paradox of life is that the more you give, the more you have. If you lose your life in the service of others, you will save it. You can give abundantly and so live abundantly. You are rich in one respect. You have a spirit that is inexhaustible. Let no mean or selfish thought keep you from sharing this spirit of love, of help, of understanding, and of sympathy. Give and keep giving. Give your personal ease and comfort, your time, your money, and most of all, yourself. And you will be living abundantly. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may live to give. I pray that I may learn this secret of abundant living. Oh yeah, quite a few spiritual principles there in today's reading. Definitely getting out of myself is, it's kind of a paradox, really, or a tension, as it's often referred to as, the very thing that keeps me stuck can get me out of myself. If I'm alone and I'm not really connected, right? I'm all about self-protection, self-promotion. Because I can be in a crowd of people and not be connected. I can be out and about in a very crowded shopping center or something like that and not be in a connected mindset. I get irritated with people easily because I'm all up in my own head. But when I'm seeking connection, which is the very thing that gets us out of ourselves, or gets me out of myself, I see that, I have to seek to receive. I have to seek to find. And if I'm out and about and I am consciously acknowledging that we are all connected on a spiritual level, that we're all children of the Creator, then I can see that more clearly in others and overlook their idiosyncrasies, because we all have little quirks about us, right? And I love the fact that by virtue of, I say virtue, just by the fact that we are, recovered from a hopeless state of mind and body, alcoholics, we have something to offer. We are able to connect when no one else can, and that in God's hands, the dark past is the greatest possession we have. We don't want to wield it flippantly or or cavalierly, because that's ego and disconnection, and that's not helpful, right? And it talked about sympathy, right? And I think in the meditation, it's more than sympathy, it's empathy, because we've been there. We can be sympathetic, but empathetic at the same time. We know because we've been there. We know that when somebody walks in with their chin dragging on the ground and they want to sit on the back row kind of thing and not be seen, we can go and let them know that they're seen and it's okay, right? Sometimes that can be met with coldness, but at the same time, we can just not take it personally. We can avoid, getting all up in our head about how somebody responds, because sometimes they seem so appreciative. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they seem a little cold and standoffish and be like, what's going on, And then you see them get their sheet signed at the end of the meeting, and if they could get their sheet signed at the beginning of the meeting, they wouldn't stick around, and I've heard people of chairpersons that they sign them at the beginning of the meeting, or they may even ask them, do you want to be here? No. Here, sign it, send them home, right? I don't know if I'm there, right? If you haven't drank every drop, you're not ready, right? So why would I want you there? Some people can do that. I believe, because of my earlier exposure to AA, that I saved myself a lot of years of wandering, of experimentation. Even though I wasn't ready at my first meeting, I knew where to go if it ever got that bad, whatever that is. That's relative to each individual person. I have a lot of yets in my story, but I do know that even the times, because I still wake up sometimes in a dark mood. Yesterday was one of those days where I've had a rough week. A lot of work, a lot of stress, anxiety about how things are going to go, so on and so forth. And I thought I'd have a sleep in, and I got almost 10 hours of sleep, right? But I woke up just feeling full of angst and didn't know what to do. I couldn't engage my brain. It was almost like I got too much sleep, and it could be the case. I don't know. So I went through my day just talking to God, and I know that I can shoot a couple of texts, right? I always say this joke that when I first got sober, cell phones weren't big. They were big, but they weren't ubiquitous. And these days, it's so much easier to connect. Yes, some people may say a text is not a call. It's not the same as a call. But I can open up a dialogue with someone, right? And know that I'm not alone. And be a source of encouragement for somebody else, and that gets me out of me. And it gets me to remind myself who I am. I'm a recovering alcoholic. That doesn't necessarily define me, because first and foremost, I'm a child of the Creator. And that we are all literally God's gift to the world. And that gets me curious. That gets me curious about, I wonder what so-and-so's gift is. And I might be able to help them discover that, because now that I'm more aware of identity in doing good things, that's my main quest in life. Okay, who does God say that I am? And I may have shared it before, that I'm an encourager. That's what, you know, I'm a feeler. I feel things. Sometimes negative feelings can be pretty strong, but I can't feel the good things as strongly if I don't feel the negative things. And I can accept that today because that's part of my identity, right? That out of that identity, I connect with the world. I connect with other people, and I get out of me, and I can see how that fits into the big picture, God's plan in the world. I pray that I may live to give. I pray that I may learn this secret of abundant living, and that is to give it away, right? If I'm in connection, I see that. If I'm in disconnection, I see lack. I feel like I have to grind for everything I get. And how could I let go of all this? How could I? I've got to grind. And I can't give things away. I've got to clutch on to everything I have. That's separation. And in that mindset, all I can do is self-protect, and self-promote. And that does not draw people that will not draw people to us. So get connected. Be of service. You're invited into a wonderful life in recovery. It's not about abstaining. It's about living a life to the fullest. And I encourage you, give it a try. Let go. Let God. Chin up. Aim up. You will rise up. Love you.